there, welcome to my channel. Hope you're doing well. In today's video, we'll be talking about 10 upcoming book releases I'm excited to read that come out in August. I'm hoping some of these will be options for the August Book of the Month box, but I will be putting these on hold at the library nevertheless. Quite a few of these books include vampires. I like vampires. We also have fairy tales, fantasies, horror, and a romantic comedy. That also includes a vampire. If you're new here, my name is Cherie and I am obsessed with books, especially of the fantasy genre right now. I am definitely in my fantasy era. I make videos on Mondays and Saturdays. So if you like to read and want to discuss all the books, definitely hit that subscribe button. We have fun here. I'm going to list these books in order of publication date. I'll give you the summary as well as their release date. Let's get started. So the first book is Mr. Magic by Kiersten. This book releases on August 8th, 30 years after a tragic accident shut down production of the classic children's program Mr. Magic. The 5 surviving cast members have done their best to move on. But just as generation of cautiously devoted fans still cling to the lessons they learned from the show, the cast have spent their lives searching for the happiness they felt while they were on it. The friendship, the feeling of belonging, and the protection of Mr. Magic. But with no surviving video or scripts, no evidence of who directed or produced it, or even who or what the magical host actually was, memories are all the former circle of friends have. In Val's case, who was kidnapped by her father and has been in hiding ever since, she doesn't even have those. But a surprise encounter with her old castmates brings them all together for a reunion. Back to the remote desert filming compound that feels like it's been waiting for them all this time. Back among friends they haven't seen for years, but who somehow understand each other better than anyone else. After all, they are the only ones who hold the secret of that circle. The mystery of the Magic Man and his infinitely black cape, and maybe the answers to what really happened on that deadly last day. But as Val reclaims part of her past, she wonders, are they there by choice, or have they been lured there into a trap? The next book is Masters of Death by Olivie. This one also releases on August 8th. I actually have not read a book by this author yet, but I do own a couple. Of course I own a couple. There is a game that the immortals play. The only rule, don't lose. So Viola Merrick, she's a struggling real estate agent as well as a vampire. But her biggest problem is that the house she is currently trying to sell is haunted. The ghost haunting the mansion has been murdered, and until he can solve the mystery of how he died, he will not move on. He refuses. Fox Demora is a medium, and though he is also most definitely a fraud, he isn't entirely without his uses, seeing as he's actually the godson of death. When Viola seeks out Fox to help her with the ghost infestation, he becomes involved in a quest that neither he nor Vi expects or wants. But with the help of an unruly poltergeist, a demonic personal trainer, a sharp-voiced angel, a love-stricken reaper, and a few mindfulness-practicing creatures, Vi and Fox soon discover the difference between a mysterious lost love and an annoying dead body isn't nearly as distinct as they thought. Next is Looking Glass Sound by Catrione. Also releases on August 8th. So in a cottage overlooking the windswept Maine coast, Wilder Hollow has begun the last book he will ever write. It is a story about the sun-drenched summer days of his youth in Whistler Bay and the blood-stained path of the killer that stalked his small vacation town. About the terrible secrets he and his companions Nat and Harper discovered entombed in the coves off the bay, and how the pact they swore that day echoed down the decades, forever shaping their lives. But the more Wilder writes, the less he trusts himself and his memory. He starts to see things that just can't be real. Notes hidden in the cabin from an old friend who is now dead, a woman with dark hair drowning in the icy waters below, calling for help, entire chapters he doesn't recall typing, appearing overnight. Who or what is haunting Wilder? No longer able to trust his own eyes, Wilder begins to fear that this will not only be his last book, but the last thing he may ever do. And next we have Shigidi and the Brass Head of Obalufon by Wole Talabi. This is the last one on this list to release on August 8th. So Shigidi is a disgruntled and demotivated nightmare god in the Orisha spirit company, reluctantly answering prayers of his few remaining believers to maintain his existence long enough to find his next drink. When he meets Neoma, a sort of succubus with a long and secretive past, everything changes for him. Together, they attempt to break break free of his obligations and the restrictions that have bound him to his godhood and navigate the parameters of their new relationship in the shadow of her past. But the elder gods that run the Orisha Spirit Company have other plans for Shigidi, and they are not aligned or good. From the boisterous streets of Lagos to the swanky rooftop bars of Singapore and the secret spaces of London, Shigidi and Neoma will encounter old acquaintances, rival gods, strange creatures, and manipulative magicians as they are drawn into a web of revenge, spirit business, and a heist across two worlds that will change Shigidi's understanding of himself forever and determine the fate of the Orisha Spirit Company. Next we have Thornhedge by Kingfisher. This one releases on August 15th and is also a novella. There's a princess trapped in a tower, but this isn't her story. Meet Toadling. On the day of her birth, she was stolen from her family by the fairies, but she grew up safe and loved in the warm waters of fairyland. Once an adult though, the Fae ask a favor of Toadling: return to the human world and offer a blessing of protection to a newborn child. Simple, right? But nothing with fairies is simple. So centuries later, a knight approaches a towering wall of brambles, where the thorns are as thick as your arms and as sharp as swords. He's heard there's a curse here that needs breaking, but it's a curse Toadling will do anything to uphold. Next we have Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Canas. It releases on August 29th. This one I'm really excited about. I am excited about the others as well, but I'm excited about this one. As the daughter of a rancher in 1840s Mexico, Nina knows a thing or two about monsters. Her home has long been threatened by tensions with Anglo settlers from the north, but something more sinister lurks near the ranch at night. Something that drains men of their blood and leaves them for dead. Something that once attacked Nina 9 years ago. Believing Nina dead, Nestor has been on the run from his grief ever since, moving from ranch to ranch as a vaquero. But no amount of grief can dispel the night terrors of sharp teeth. No woman could erase his childhood sweetheart from his mind. When the United States invades Mexico in 1846, the two are brought together on the road to war. Nina is a healer, striving to prove her worth to her father so that he does not marry her off to a stranger. And Nestor is a member of the auxiliary cavalry. But the shock of their reunion and Nina's rage for Nestor, since he abandoned her so long ago, is quickly overshadowed by the appearance of a nightmare made flesh. And unless Nina and Nestor work through their past and face the future together, neither will survive to see the dawn. Next, we have House of Marionne by Elle. This one also releases on August 29th. Bury your secret or die for it. 17-year-old Quelle has lived her entire life on the run. She and her mother have fled from city to city in order to hide the deadly magic that flows through Quelle's veins. That is, until someone discovers her secret. To hide from the assassin hunting her and keep her mother out of harm's way, Quelle reluctantly inducts into a debutante society, a magical social elite called the Order that she never knew existed. If she can pass their 3 rites of membership, mastering their proper form of magic, she'll be able to secretly bury her forbidden form of magic forever. But if caught, she will be killed. But becoming a perfect debutante is a lot harder than Quelle ever imagined, especially when there's more than tutoring happening with Jordan, her brooding mentor and assassin in training. When Quelle discovers the deadly lengths the Order will go to defend their wealth and power, she's forced to choose: embrace the dark magic she's been running from her entire life, or risk losing everything and everyone she's grown to love. Still, she fears the most formidable monster she'll have to face is the one inside. Next we have My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. Releases on August 29th. Another one. Cassie Greenberg loves being an artist, but it's a tough way to make a living. On the brink of eviction, she's desperate when she finds a too-good-to-be-true apartment in a beautiful Chicago neighborhood. Cassie just knows there has to be a catch. Only someone with a secret to hide would rent out a room for that price. Of course, her new roommate, Frederick J. Fitzwilliam, is far from normal. He sleeps all day, is out all night on business, and talks like he walked out of a Regency romance novel. He also leaves Cassie heart-melting notes throughout the apartment, cares about her art, and wants to know about her day. And he doesn't look half bad shirtless on the rare occasions that they're both home and awake. But when Cassie finds bags of blood in the fridge that definitely weren't there earlier, Frederick has to come clean. Cassie's sexy new roommate just happens to be a vampire, and he has a proposition for her. Next we have Sign of the Slayer by Sharina Harris, also released on August 29th. Raven Wright was just a happy-go-lucky banky, armed with a saxophone and sheet music the night her best friend and bandmates were attacked by rogue vampires. When a mysterious stranger saves her from certain death and tells her she's born to fight, Raven is forced to leave school and her beloved grandmother behind. No one can know about the Slayer Society, an order of slayers divinely gifted with supernatural strength, alchemical knowledge, and near immortality to defeat vampires. But she hates her new life. She hates vampires, she hates the society, hates everything except the boy who saved her life, until she discovers the truth and now all she wants is revenge. Raven straddles the blurred lines between love and hate. The reluctant vampire slayer must decide if she can set aside her hate for the guy she used to love, join forces, and save the world. And who is it that they're saving the world from? The father of vampires, and one of the greatest conquerors the world has ever seen, Alexander the Great. And the last one is The Phoenix King by Aparna Verma, also releasing on August 29th. The Rivani Kingdom was born of a prophecy, carved from unforgiving desert sands, and ruled by the Raven's bloodline, those with the power to command the eternal fire. Elena Adya is the heir to the throne, and the only Ravens who cannot wield her family's legendary magic. As her coronation approaches, she will do whatever it takes to prove herself a worthy successor to her revered father. But she doesn't anticipate the arrival of Yassi Knight, the notorious assassin who now claims fealty to the throne. Elena's father might trust Yassin to be a member of her royal guard, but she is certain he is hiding something. As the threat of war looms like a storm on the horizon, the two begin a dangerous dance of intrigue and betrayal, and the choices they make could burn down the world. And those are the books I'm excited for that will be released in August. I'm curious if you will be reading any of them, or if there is another book that I just didn't bring up that you are excited about. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in another video soon.